Hello, I'm Luna Celestine. Thank you for being here with me for your June 15th, 2025 reading, especially if you carry the fire and fixed strength of Leo in your chart. Today, I won't begin with a forecast. I'll begin with a fact. The universe is no longer asking politely. It's urging you to act, not out of fear, not out of pressure, but out of alignment. If you've been waiting for a sign, a push, or the right moment, this is it. The waiting period is over. What's needed now is a conscious decision to take the lead in your own life, not reactively, but intentionally. This message doesn't come from emotion. It's supported by real celestial shifts. The current alignments, especially involving the sun and mutable air influences, suggest a closing chapter. What once felt stable is now becoming restrictive. You may feel this in your routines, in your work, in the way you speak to yourself, or in relationships that no longer feed your spirit. There's a difference between effort and exhaustion, and if you've been pouring energy into things that only leave you depleted, it's time to pause and reevaluate. This isn't about doing more. It's about doing what actually moves you forward with integrity. I'm not here to dramatize this transition. I'm here to remind you that much of your current fatigue stems from absorbing too much external input. When you stay too open, taking in everyone's opinions, bad news, emotional burdens, you lose clarity about your own frequency. And for Leo, whose center of power is the heart, that disconnection doesn't just cloud your vision, it weakens your will. That's why today is not about adding new tasks to your list. It's about creating space to hear yourself again. To reconnect not through doing, but through stillness. In the next part of this reading, we'll move into insights around love, finances, health, work, and family. All of it is valuable, but none of it will land unless you are quiet enough to actually feel what resonates. So before we begin, I ask one thing of you. Don't seek more information. Seek clarity. And clarity doesn't come from noise. It starts from within. Financially speaking, Leo, the energy surrounding you today is both promising and strategic. This is not a time for hesitation or scattered risk. It's a moment where thoughtful action can lead to long-term gains. If you've been considering an investment, signing a contract, or moving forward with a business idea that aligns with your values and your deeper vision, the cosmic timing supports it. What matters most now is not just the opportunity itself, but the clarity with which you engage it. Don't rush. Don't guess. But if your heart and your logic are in agreement, take the next step. The universe is opening a door that rewards preparedness, and you're being asked to walk through it with confidence, not caution. There's also a subtle but powerful message here about support. Financial progress doesn't always come from effort alone. It can come through connection. A family member or trusted friend may offer insight, resources, or even a chance encounter that leads to growth. Don't dismiss the influence of your circle. You don't have to do this alone, and sometimes the advice that shifts your whole strategy comes from someone who knows you deeply and believes in your potential without needing proof. Be open to receiving not just money, but wisdom, collaboration, and shared success. One thing I will stress: this is not the time to divide your focus across 10 projects or ideas. You are being called to sharpen your energy, to channel your time and resources into one or two core pursuits that truly matter. Discipline is your ally now. The more precise your efforts, the more powerful your results will be. Let go of what feels urgent but shallow. Focus on what feels grounded, aligned, and real. As for luck, yes, it's on your side, especially in areas tied to creativity, business leadership, and bold communication. If you've been waiting for a green light to launch, pitch, or request funding, consider this your sign. The energy favors those who lead with intention and follow through with focus. And if you're someone who believes in symbolic momentum, your lucky numbers today are 3, 14, 26, 37, 48, and 59. Whether you use them practically or intuitively, let them remind you that the universe is always speaking. Sometimes in numbers, sometimes in signs, but always in alignment with your willingness to act. In your professional life, Leo, the momentum is unmistakable. You're either stepping into leadership or being called to embrace it more fully than ever before. This isn't about title or authority alone. It's about influence, presence, and the clarity with which you carry your vision. Whether or not you've been officially promoted or placed in a visible role, people are watching you, noticing your strength, your consistency, and your ability to bring clarity where others bring confusion. You're not just performing a task. You're becoming someone others naturally look to when direction is needed. The recognition you've long deserved is beginning to take shape, and with it comes the responsibility to lead with integrity, not performance. You may find yourself at the beginning of a new chapter, perhaps building a team, launching a new project, or being asked to contribute to something that requires long-term strategy and commitment. This is not random. You are being positioned in places where your voice, your ideas, and your structure-building capacity matter. Don't underestimate the quiet influence you hold, even when you're not the loudest in the room. You've reached a threshold where your inner authority needs to match your outer actions. The time for waiting to be chosen is over. You've already been chosen by the task itself. And if you've been feeling stuck, uninspired, or strangely distant from your professional goals, don't take that as failure. Take it as redirection. Sometimes stagnation is not a sign of weakness. It's a signal that your spirit no longer fits inside the space you've outgrown. Listen closely. The discomfort is not here to defeat you. It's here to initiate you into a higher level of service, creativity, or alignment. Whether that means proposing a change in your current role, pivoting to something new, or reigniting a passion that's been sitting dormant, now is the time to act. This is not about pushing harder. It's about becoming clearer. When you know what matters, you move differently. And right now, Leo, you are being asked to move not as an employee or a contributor, but as a visionary, someone who doesn't wait for a roadmap, but dares to draw one. When it comes to your health today, Leo, the message is clear. Your emotional state is not separate from your physical well-being. It is directly linked. The more you push down what you feel, the more tension your body absorbs. And while your strength allows you to carry more than most, it does not mean you are meant to carry it all the time. Right now, your system is asking for restoration, not performance. It's not just about physical rest, though that is important. It's about emotional release, the kind that happens when you stop pretending everything is fine and allow yourself the space to admit what's been heavy. Healing at this point requires more than effort. It requires honesty. If you've been pushing yourself through exhaustion, through stress, through constant demands without truly pausing to process your inner state, you're likely feeling the cumulative effects now. Fatigue, scattered focus, or emotional numbness are not weaknesses. They are signals, and those signals are pointing toward the need to slow down, to reconnect with rhythm, and to let go of the pressure to optimize every aspect of your wellness all at once. You don't need to chase 5 new routines or start every trending practice. You need consistency. One grounded, intentional health practice, whether it's stretching in the morning, walking in silence, or simply drinking enough water, can bring far more long-term benefit than trying to master 10 all at once. Your body is not asking you to be perfect, it's asking you to be present. And presence starts with listening. What emotions have you been carrying in silence? What stressors have gone unspoken, but are clearly showing up in your energy levels, your sleep, or your appetite? This is the time to choose simplicity over stimulation, to seek nourishment that is slow, steady, and supportive. Your vitality is returning, but it needs a stable foundation to root itself in, and that begins with your decision to treat your emotional health as the core of your physical resilience, not a side note, but a central truth. In the realm of family and close relationships, Leo, the energy today points to a gentle but significant shift, one that invites reconnection, emotional leadership, and a return to warmth where there may have been silence or distance. You may find yourself approaching a moment of celebration, such as a birthday, reunion, or unexpected visit that holds more emotional meaning than you anticipated. But beyond the surface level events, what's truly happening is deeper. A chance to realign the emotional bonds within your family, to mend what may have been frayed, or simply to be present in a way that brings quiet reassurance to others. You are being called not just to participate in your family dynamic, but to shape it. Whether you are the one others naturally look to for guidance, or simply the person who notices the unspoken tensions, your role as an emotional anchor is becoming more visible. That doesn't mean you have to fix everything. It means you have the ability, and perhaps the responsibility, to initiate healing simply by being willing to listen, to speak gently, or to extend a hand without waiting for an invitation. In families, it's often the smallest gestures that create the greatest ripple effects. A text, a phone call, a simple acknowledgement of someone's presence can restore more trust than elaborate words ever could. If there has been emotional distance, someone you haven't heard from in a while, or a lingering misunderstanding that hasn't been addressed, today offers an opening. But the key is not confrontation. The key is compassion. You are not required to explain everything or resolve every wound in one conversation. What you are invited to do is make space for dialogue, to lower the emotional walls just enough for light to enter, and in doing so you may find that what you thought was broken was actually waiting for the right moment to be repaired. There's also a broader reflection here about family legacy and cycles, what you've inherited, what you're repeating, and what you have the power to transform. You may be the one in your lineage who sees the deeper patterns, the unsaid burdens, or the missed connections, and you may be the one who chooses to respond differently, not perfectly, but intentionally. This is not about martyrdom, it's about awareness, and from that awareness, true connection becomes possible. You don't have to force it, you just have to be willing to meet others where they are and offer the kind of presence that only someone with your strength and sensitivity can give. In terms of compatibility, Leo, today's cosmic alignments highlight powerful energetic harmonies between you and certain signs that either ignite your fire or soothe your emotional edges in just the right way. Aries and Sagittarius. Your fellow fire signs resonate with your natural intensity, boldness, and desire for movement. Interactions with them today feel invigorating, honest, and full of shared purpose. These are the people who won't ask you to shrink. Instead, they mirror back your courage and meet you in your ambition without hesitation. If you're seeking motivation, passion, or even a bit of romantic tension, these connections are fertile ground. Pisces, while not a fire sign, brings a complementary energy today that may surprise you. Their sensitivity, intuitive depth, and emotional openness offer you a type of refuge, a place where you don't have to explain your feelings because they're already understood. A Pisces may offer you what you've recently been needing without knowing how to ask for it. Softness. They are not here to compete with your light, but to reflect it in a quieter, more healing way. However, be mindful of interactions with Capricorn and Scorpio. This doesn't mean conflict is inevitable, but the friction here may stem from a misalignment in control, pacing, or emotional expression. Capricorn may challenge your spontaneity with structure, and Scorpio might confront you with intensity you're not ready to match. These dynamics, while complex, are not without value, but they require patience, clear communication, and the willingness to not take things personally. If you find yourself feeling pushed or questioned in these relationships, step back and ask whether the tension is calling for distance or growth. And finally, to support your energy throughout the day, bring gold into your space, whether it's in what you wear, what you visualize, or what you focus on. Gold is more than just a color for Leo. It represents your essence. Warm, magnetic, unapologetically radiant. Let it remind you that your confidence is not a performance, it's a frequency, one that when fully owned draws the right people, the right opportunities, and the right outcomes to you effortlessly. As we close today's journey, Leo, let me leave you with this final alignment of energies. drawn not from the cards, but from the movement of the stars themselves. Emotionally, you are entering a rare window of fulfillment. The recent lunar cycles have softened your heart just enough to let joy in. And what's coming next feels less like a wish and more like a return to emotional truth. The moon's trine to Venus speaks of satisfaction not born of external applause, but of inner alignment. You are no longer chasing the feeling of being loved. You are embodying it. You are recognizing that what you once longed for is already within reach, not because the world has changed, but because you have. There is also romantic movement in your skies. With Neptune active and the Sun harmonizing with Mars, a wave of genuine emotional energy is moving toward you. Whether this comes in the form of reconnection with someone from your past, or a new presence stepping into your orbit, it is energy laced with sincerity, intention, and timing. This isn't accidental. It's part of your evolution, and as you soften into it, you may find yourself loved not for what you do, but for who you are at rest. Public recognition and purpose are also highlighted now. The solar alignment with Jupiter gives you a moment of visibility. Your light is not just shining, it is being seen. What you've been quietly building is now beginning to resonate outward. Don't be surprised if others are drawn to your work, your voice, or your presence more than usual. This isn't about popularity, it's about purpose. The universe is using your natural charisma as a vehicle for something meaningful. Own it without ego. Share it without fear. Karmically, a cycle is completing. Pluto's slow movements are activating the deeper layers of your story, the parts where things were left unfinished, where justice felt out of reach, or where you held on too long. Now, balance is being restored, not always loudly, but undeniably. The scales are evening out, and what returns to you now carries the energy of resolution, redemption, and restoration. And finally, joy is waiting. Not the fleeting kind, the kind that roots itself through commitment, through presence, through real connection. Astrologically, the upcoming aspects between the Moon and Saturn suggest a stabilization of relationships that truly matter. This may mark the beginning of a long-term partnership, a homecoming, or a decision to build something enduring with someone who feels destined. This is not a prediction, it is an unfolding, and you, Leo, are not a passive recipient. You are the force through which these alignments take shape. So walk forward, not with urgency, but with clarity. Your joy is not behind you, and it is not far ahead. It is here, waiting for you to claim it. Thank you for sharing this space with me today, Leo. I'm Luna Celestine, and it's always an honor to walk beside you as the stars unfold their messages. Remember, astrology is not fate, it's language. And today, the universe has spoken clearly. You are not waiting for your moment. You are already in it. Everything you need to rise into this next version of yourself is already within you. Clarity, courage, and the quiet fire of purpose. If today's reading resonated, I invite you to carry its truth with you, not just in thought, but in action. Lead with heart, rest when needed, and never forget. Your light doesn't just illuminate your path, it gives others permission to rise, too. Until we meet again, take care of your spirit, honor your energy, and keep shining in your own fierce golden way. I'll see you in the next reading.